We're driving in your Jeep, you got the top down. Pull over, make me get out, and I look around, yeah. You could not know what you were looking for. Trying to fill a void, just wanting something more. Stays with you forever, you said 1,000 times. You won't forget me ever, but you're someone new, and you look into her.
Welcome back to GAB with ALisa Profiles, as we profile Sara Gray, a wonderful up-and-coming country artist from this beautiful community we call Southern Maryland. Sara, we talked in the first segment a little bit about your background, how your faith and your parents have really helped propel you to where you are. Let's talk a little bit about processes, if you will, because I think sometimes people see people that are bigger than life and they say, oh my gosh, they just became. Well, you know, it's a longer, harder road, and it is a process. Now, your first singing engagement was on a cruise ship when you were 3, and here you are, you know, a few years later. You've opened for Kelly Pickerel. You've been at the WMCQ Music Fest. You've been all around and really done some singing. So let's talk about the process. So if there's somebody out there saying, hey, maybe I'd like to do that someday, really kind of share with them, you know, what the process is all about.
I definitely think that you hit the nail on the head when you said people look at it and they're like, oh, you know, you think, oh, they just got there so easily, but you know, you don't see the late nights,
right,
the practicing, the, you know, hours and hours that you spend all behind the scenes of things that you have to do. So, I mean, really, when we started this whole process, we literally just, I got a guitar player and we started just doing acoustic gigs, just him and I. And we started at local restaurants and things like that, and just really have tried to build a name for ourselves, and honestly just praying all the way for God to open up doors, and it's just built from there. And I do think that it's God just, you know, I'm praying and trying to see where He wants, you know, to place me or to lead me, and you know, as long as He'll continue to open up the doorways, I'm okay for the ride.
Sure. You, not only do you sing, but you also write, and that, to me, is gold. That's gold in the music industry, if you can write your own music, because you know what you want to convey and what you want to share, and just what's inside of you that you want to bring forward in your music. So how do you write? How do you get your inspiration? How does that go?
Well, it's so funny, and I know I keep talking about God, but it's just the way that it works. I wanted to write, and I would just write little things. I never really wrote full songs until I was about 16, but I started praying, and I was like, God, because, you know, my sister, she plays and she sings too, and she would write these awesome songs. I'm like, man, her songs are so good. And I had written songs, but I didn't love them like I loved hers. So I started praying. I was like, you know, help me to write a song. Help me, you know, with this process. And they just started flowing out. Like,
really?
Yep. I mean, I'm not saying instantaneously or anything like that, but it just started coming. You got better and better and better. And it's just a process. I love songwriting, and I try to write every single day. Okay. And, you know, you're talking to somebody, you're having a conversation, and ideas pop in your mind. You're like, oh, that's cool that they said that. You know what I mean? Or you see from situations that people are living, your friends, you know, you use them as inspirations, your relationships, your relationships with your parents, your relationship with God, situations, you know, you see your friends or your close church members, things like that, you see them lose people, and there's so many, I mean, a million things a day can inspire you. I mean, I'm literally driving up to a red light, and I'm like, oh, I had this cool idea like pop in my head. So, you know, everything. You just got to have your mind open and aware, and they just come. They just pop on in there.
That is incredible. If people listen to your music and they hear the songs that you've written, I know you have such a personal connection, because I love the way that you talked about you get inspired by the things that happen in your life, and from what little I understand about writing music and what have you, that's what makes beautiful music, is this story that comes from within. So if people hear your music and they walk away with an impression, what kind of an impression would you like for them to have of you and of your music?
I guess if anything, I would just want them walking away feeling like, oh, hey, she fully, you know, relies on God. And But it's not that I write every song about God or anything like that. I write songs about, first loves, about, you're having your heart broken, about losing someone, about being thankful for your parents, for loving you, for, I write about your sister. I mean, there's a million things that I've written songs about, waiting for that right person to come along in your life, and, you're sitting there and you're waiting for them to come. So I think that every song really will tell a different story, but I hope in every song, whether I mention God or not, I hope that they could feel His Spirit in some of it.
Oh, I love that. What advice would you give to somebody that's considering the music industry as a career, whether they're considering singing, writing, or playing, or what have you? Really rounded advice, because I know that when you sing, you're under a tremendous amount of pressure because it is something that comes from within you, and everybody's looking at you. What kind of advice would you give to somebody that's considering getting into the music industry?
Number one, pray. And just let Him be in control. And the second thing would obviously be just be ready to work. I mean, literally, I work a full-time job, and I do singing. I'm trying to do singing full-time as well. So it's like I'm working 2.5 jobs, and I feel like I do more with singing than I do with my full-time job. That's how much more time I spend. So I spend 40 hours a week at a full-time job, but I feel like I spend probably that plus more on singing, and I work. I'm constantly always doing something for singing, always trying,
Can we talk about that for just a second, about your other job, because you're a full-time nurse. Your mom encouraged you to pursue that first, right?
Yes. She was telling me, hey, Sarah, I know you love to sing, and I know that this is what you want to do, but you need a backup plan. You need something to fall back on, so you will be able to support yourself if that doesn't work. Which I do think was an awesome idea, and stability. That provides that. So I'm very thankful that I did that, and I do have a full-time job. I work for Children's Hospital, so I definitely love that. And it's one of our outpatient centers where I work. So it's more like an office setting, which allows me to do more for singing, because I'm not working on the shift work or anything like that. But yeah, very thankful for my mom. She she said, make sure you do this, and I said, okay. So we did that, and then we focused on the singing. I
love that. It sounds like your parents really have given you such a foundation for dreaming. What is that famous saying? Casey Kasem, keep your feet on the ground, but reach for the stars. And that is so compelling.
I swear me and my mom were just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, it is so compelling, and having him passed away just recently, I know it's on a lot of people's minds, but it's true. It sounds like that's what your parents have done for you.
Yes.
Keep your feet on the ground, get a backup career, but reach for those stars with your singing.
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some big, exciting things that are in the future. You've got a recently released CD, you've got some really wonderful things in the works, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We might even see if we can talk you into, I don't know, an impromptu Ninja Turtles rendition. You never know what's going to happen. We'll come back in just a moment as we profile Sara Gray on GAB with ALisa Profiles.
'Cause here you got someone to hold you's already starting.